What is going on, guys? This is Elijah here, and today I am back with another college football prediction video, and this time it is between the Georgia Bulldogs versus the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at Sanford Stadium, which will be on September 21st, 2019. Coverage is to be determined as of time as well, and it is in Athens, Georgia, which is the Georgia Bulldogs. And as you guys know, that it is 2019 and it is March, and guess what? We're still going to talk about some college football because right now it's just basketball and baseball, and there's the AAF as well, but I'm talking about college football, and this year is going to be way different from last year. And as you guys know, that Georgia lost to Alabama in the SEC championship, and they could be in the college football playoffs. Did they deserve it? Yes, I think they should have been in, but they did lose to LSU, and they did lose to Alabama. And as you guys know, the last time Notre Dame played Georgia was in 2017 when Georgia beat Notre Dame 20-19, which is a crazy ending there, which I remember watching it. And it's crazy how it's already been 2 years. It's insane. So, Georgia, Kirby Smart's been here for 4 seasons, or this will be his 4th season with Georgia. And as you guys know, that Justin Fields transferred to Ohio State to play under Ryan Day, who is now the new head coach for Ohio State. And now this is Brian Kelly's 10th season as the Irish's coach. And will he be on the hot seat this year? Because as you guys know, that Notre Dame did get destroyed by Clemson 30-3 in the semifinals of the college football playoffs. And yeah, is he on the hot seat? Who knows? And also, as you guys know, that Brandon Wimbush has transferred to UCF, who was the former quarterback for the Fighting Irish. Alright, so as you guys know, I always like to go through the top 3 offensive players and the top 3 statistical leaders on defense, and then give my final prediction at the end. So let's go ahead and go through the offense for Georgia. Alright, as you guys know, Jake Fromm is again the starter for Georgia. As you guys know earlier, that Justin Fields is to Ohio State. So last year, for Jake Fromm, he completed 206 passes to 306 attempts, 2,749 passing yards. Completion percentage was 67.3%, averaged about 9.0 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Pretty good. And QBR rating was 171.2, which is really good for a QBR rating. All right. As of now, Ian Book is the starter for Notre Dame. He went 214 to 314, almost similar to Jake Fromm's. Passing yards, he had 2,628 passing yards. Completion percentage was 68.2, almost as similar to Jake Fromm's. Average was about 8.4, 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a QBR rating 154.0. And like I said, Brandon Wimbush transferred to UCF. All right, so Georgia, they lost Elijah Holyfield to the NFL draft, and he had over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns, so that was a big loss to them. But they do have DeAndre Swift, who's a really great running back, 163 carries, 1,049 rushing yards, 6.4 yards average, was really good, 10 touchdowns also. So he is going to be back with the team, and he's a really good asset to Jake Fromm and Kirby Smart's offense. All right, Notre Dame running back Tony Jones Jr. as of now is going to be the starter for the Fighting Irish. He had 83 carries, 392 rushing yards, 6.3 yards average, pretty good, and only 3 touchdowns. And Dexter Williams is gone, and that's a huge loss to Notre Dame. And yeah, pretty big loss for them because he was a starter last year. All right, so the big question for Georgia is going to be their wide receiving core, because they literally lost all their 4 top receivers on the team. First one is Riley Ridley, Mecole Hardman, Isaac Nauta, Luke Ford, who transferred. So the only one that's left right now, as of now, is Tyler Simmons, who's a top receiver. He only had 9 receptions, 138 receiving yards, 15.3 yards average, and 2 touchdowns. Alright, so now we move on to Notre Dame, and their top receiver is Chase Claypool. His stats last year were 50 receptions, 639 receiving yards, 12.8 yards average, and 4 touchdowns. The two top receivers for Notre Dame that were huge losses were Miles Boykin, who's now currently in the NFL draft, and Chris Fink. If I pronounce that last name wrong, I'm sorry. Always correct me and comment below in the comment section. Alright, so now we go to the defensive top 3 leaders, and Georgia is going to lose a lot of key guys as well as Notre Dame. So, as a further ado, let's go to the top 3 defensive leaders. We got Richard LeConte. If I'm pronouncing that last name wrong or right, always comment below. He's a cornerback. He's a rising junior, 74 tackles and 1 interception. J.R. Reed, who's a DB, a defensive back, he's a rising junior as well, 66 tackles, 2 interceptions, pretty good. These guys are like the top 3 tacklers or top 3 leaders on defense. Monte Rice is a linebacker, but he does have an MCL injury. I looked that up earlier just to clarify, but he is one of the leading tacklers on the team. He's a linebacker, a rising junior, 59 tackles, but like I said, is dealing with the injury. All right, these are key guys that are gone from this year, from this previous season, which is Jonathan Ledbetter, Juwan Taylor, DeAndre Walker, Natrez Patrick, and DeAndre Baker. Pretty big losses for Georgia, but Georgia is loaded like always, and they're plus they're from the SEC, so SEC is mainly known for defense and pretty good ball games, even though I don't really like the SEC in general. And finally, for Notre Dame, top 3 defensive players is Alohi. I'm sorry if I pronounce his first name. It's Alohi. Alohi. I'm sorry. Gilman. Sorry if I pronounced that first name wrong. All right, he's a safety. He's a rising senior. He had 94 tackles, 2 interceptions. Pretty good for a safety. All right, we have Jalen Elliott, who's a safety. He's a rising senior as well, with 67 tackles, 4 interceptions. So pretty good. Tony Pride Jr., who's also a defensive back in the secondary, had 47 tackles and 2 interceptions. So as you guys know, who's gone is Tavon Coney, Drew Tranquil, Julian Love, who's now in the NFL draft, and Osmar Billau. I'm sorry to pronounce these. Are some tough words sometimes. All right, and lastly we have Jerry Tillery. All right, so for my prediction for both teams, I'm going to be doing both scores because one will seem like I'm biased towards the other. So for my score for Georgia, we have 27-10, and for Notre Dame, we have 24-14. It's going to be a low-scoring game because Georgia has good defense, and Notre Dame has good defense as well. So they're both going to be great. All right, so lastly, as you guys know, I'm going to predict the final score for this upcoming season's matchup between Georgia versus Notre Dame. And of course, I like to do both teams because if I just choose one, I'm going to be biased towards the other school. So, in my opinion, I think this game is going to be a low-scoring game. It could be a high-up-tempo game, but with Georgia's young wide receiving core and Notre Dame's young wide receiving core, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be a defensive game, just like 2 years ago when it was 2019. So, for Georgia, I'm going to pick 24-10, and for Notre Dame, I'm going to pick 28-21, if you like to say that. So it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a low-scoring game. So like I said earlier, Georgia 24-10 and Notre Dame 28-21. It's going to be a really close game. So guys, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And if you're a college football fan, like, comment, and subscribe. And always love seeing you guys comment. It's awesome. It's fun to see just the trash talk between two fan bases, and just also leave your feedback, what I should do next and what I need my help on just predicting videos and stuff like that. It's always good to hear from you guys. So like, comment, and subscribe. This is Elijah here. Y'all have a great day, and